I swear, I'm going to have to take some time to really take some days off. I inadvertently have been doing that and struggling to get through a few things that I need to get done. It just isn't going very well. The good thing is, at least I have things I can fall back on. Like I can knock out a journal like this. I can maybe work on stuff erratically. I've got some designs that I'm trying to work on, some colorways really quickly for one of my clients. They want to really, it's a cool idea, but essentially what they want is some roughs done of some different animals, and they want spires and patterns and things within. So like one example given was the shape of a horse. Now that's fine, but in the horse, like maybe it'd be like filling a horse's silhouette with diamonds on the inside or something. And so trying to find some creative ways to do that. So, and the one you can probably see back here in the back is a lionfish, that I was kind of messing with the pattern work and then deciding, okay, are these going to be different sorts of colors, different sorts of things? And that's not the final by any regards. It's just a colorway study. Sometimes those are the things I really struggle with, because when I know that I end up backing myself up on a bunch of other projects, then I start to panic about the one I'm currently working on and going, oh my God, how am I going to get this completed? How am I going to figure this out? And most of it is just taking the time to slow down and think through what I have going on and just do the best I possibly can. But there are times when it just doesn't, it doesn't really pan out the way I want it to. Not the project specifically, like the output, although there's problems there. But that's just one of the things about being a creative. Even under the best of circumstances, even with the best planning, or in this case, erratic planning, things can just go haywire, can go really wrong. Anyway, yeah, so that's what's going on with that right now. I honestly have had such a weird day trying to get caught up on other things too. I'd let a bunch of my emails and messages go by. I still have a bunch that I haven't answered, and that's never a good thing. One bad one was I found and I missed this. I have some that unfortunately they go to the spam folder, and I hate when I get a job request or something that'll go to the spam folder. That's the worst feeling in the world, because even if I follow up, which I did, there's not a whole lot that I can really do to say, well, yeah, I went to the spam folder, and hopefully they understand. But it can also mean if it was a time sensitive job, which I believe that one was, there's no chance to recover that. That's lost income. And then joy of joys, it's getting, the other thing is getting ready for taxes. That's fun. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Itemizing everything. I've got back here on the shelf behind me, there's a lower area that has a series of different folders and binders and things filled with receipts and stuff. And some of them I had entered into Excel documents and taken care of that. But the rest of this, there is so much shit from all the shows I did. I have no idea how much time I'm going to be spending getting all that put together and taken care of, but I'll do what I can. So, man, it's just crazy. And I also ended up finding this, I think the website is called Artlist, and it's a really cool site. It's got a lot of really good, every year I try and subscribe to different services that'll provide either royalty-free music or videos or, video elements, effects, things like that. And for the most part, they've come out pretty good for me. I know in years past, I've been just building offline libraries of elements from a lot of these places, going, okay, someday I'm going to use that in Premiere. Okay, someday I'm going to use that in After Effects. Okay, someday I'm going to use that in my podcast, and just trying different things like that. And I've already got a massive library, so I'm holding off until probably this summer to jump into a new thing, since there's so many other expenses I've got to look at and say, okay, what can I cut off for now? What am I not doing? So on that note, I think I talked about this before, but just to reiterate, I definitely think this is going to be the year that I'm going to slow down on the number of shows I'm doing, just to keep costs and everything down, while I'm trying not to put pressure on myself for my projects, while I'm also trying to finish up other things for other people. And I just know that there's a point where a laundry list, a to-do list can get too long, and that stress isn't anything I need in my life. I just don't. It's bad enough that I'm not even letting myself rest like I should, and I'm pushing myself a little further on some stuff than I probably should. But because of the need of income, and when you're a freelancer, you don't have health insurance, you don't necessarily have a good way to save for the future, you don't have a 401k or anything. You can start IRAs or just put stuff away in a savings account, but the income's got to be there. And unfortunately, unlike working for a corporation, you're spending a lot of time on advertising, doing other stuff, spending money on business expenses that in most cases are covered by the company you work for. So the trade-off has been that, if I need to take a day off, or I need to do something else, or I want to do other things, I can. But in lieu of that, then there comes the instability of either income or, cost management. There's a lot more to it. And it covers, really it ends up covering the 3 different facets I do. I haven't been doing any voice acting as of lately because I've just, with the exception of my own personal projects, just because that's a whole nother avenue to go into. And quite frankly, with companies now offering the whole AI aspect for voice work as well too, which is becoming unnerving. I want to see where the chips fall over the course of this first part of the year, and maybe talk to some other people that I know that are in the industry, that do much higher profile jobs than I do, and see kind of what they think, and go from there, because it is something that needs to be talked about. The other 2 aspects of what I'm going through are how much time am I devoting to my business? Because, I separate my art side, the visual art side, into 2 different areas. I separate it into the graphic design and commercial stuff that I'll do for clients specifically, and then there's everything under the Artisan Rogue fold. So that includes writing, illustrating, and publishing graphic novels, children's books, eventually poetry, and stuff like that I have in my own wheelhouse, as well as running my website, all of the social media sites, reworking my podcast, doing this daily and creating content daily for both YouTube and TikTok, and making it fairly unique, not repetitive, and then making some executive decisions on what else I'm cutting off. In other words, things like, is Twitter, am I going away from that? Because there has to be some return on that investment of time. And because if I'm spending a lot more time trying to spread myself thin across different facets, what good is it doing me, and how much can I possibly skim off the top of my own life to, because then there's also the balance. All of those facets are then balanced with, what is my mental health like? What is my personal time like? Whatever ends up happening from there. So there's a lot to take into consideration with that. And it seems like this is definitely a time where it's reaching a fever pitch for me. A lot of it I really blame myself for, because if I had maybe planned it out a bit better, then I'd be in a better place. Some of it is just also, and I shouldn't be so hard on myself. This is one of the things that my therapist was telling me the other day, for me to stop being so hard on what I'm attempting to accomplish, and to focus on the good things and the positives that fall my way, whether they're of my own doing or just circumstantial. Because if I'm capable of doing that, then it makes it easier to get through the slog on other things, or to just want to be more available for myself to do other things. And I hate putting things on the back burner. And there's this weird thing, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this or not, where you'll end up doing something, but it's only because you're down to the wire, and all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I got to get this done. And boy, do I feel that. And I've got timers on my phone that count down certain days for projected completion dates. And I think I mentioned this before. The app keeps track of when shows are coming up, when things are due, which is great. I have multiple checkpoints for that. So if I want to get into a show or do something, I know what time I have to submit vendor fees or whatever for, or when I have to go, when, to schedule a hotel stay or whatever. And then I also have it where it's counting down for different projects I have already throughout 2023. The first one is Volume 1 of World of Ardor. In that same window, if there's time, Pagan Zoetrope Volume 1 Redone, the second edition, will be out as well too. if the first one, number one, World of Ardor, takes too long, then Pagan Zoetrope gets dropped off the schedule and gets moved back a little bit, and that's fine. It is a finite project that will get done, but I'm going to get them done correctly. And I have to remember that, it's not like I'm the creator of Gravity Falls. I'm not Alex Hirsch. Somebody's not waiting for season 3 to show up or something, which is never going to happen, but it's not like that. And I have to remember that if this is something that I really want to market beyond and do right, then I need to take the time to make sure I'm getting things done. But on that same note, I want to make sure that I don't end up overwhelming myself, whether it's OCD or perfectionism or whatever entails me to want to like pine over the details of something. Yes, there is the whole factor of you only get one shot at making a first impression, but I also believe too that if you're capable of just getting something done, it gets done. That is exactly one of the goals for doing this daily journal. Come hell or not, what is hell? What is it? Come hell or high water? It's something like that. I wanted to get this done. I wanted to make sure that this was going to be something I got completed and would give me enough impetus to keep going. So this is a pretty brief update, just because I think I explained the rest of what was going on in the earlier one. And yeah, so there are times when I know I've got a lot to say, but there's really not a lot of discussion in this one that I've got. It's definitely at a fever pitch for me. So I'm going to cut this one off now. Hopefully you guys are having good days, and whatever you're working on, you're getting it done and kicking ass. I'll end with this. I know that a lot of times people kind of get overwhelmed, or they feel like what they're doing doesn't matter, or you question a lot of that stuff, and that is a really weird place to be. Really weird place. And I've been there so many times, more than I'd like to count. So I can offer you this: there will always be a point for most everyone that no matter how down you feel, if you can take a step back, if you can allow yourself to breathe, you will have the opportunity to see what's wrong. And whether you're going through therapy, or you're working on yourself by yourself, or with family, or however you want to do it, however it's working for you or you're capable of doing, I'm happy you're doing that. All too often, I'm my own harshest critic, and I'm the person that is the worst on me at the exact same time that I know I am the reason why I struggle. And there's a lot of times that I feel that people have that same indoctrinated feeling, whether it was because we came from, families or households that weren't always the best, or if we came from circumstances with jobs or whatever. And, those are all things that can be overcome. At some point in time in our lives, we went through this stuff, and we carry that trauma, we carry that nervousness and that stress with us. And there are tools to cope with it. And I really do believe that even whether you journal, whether you do a vlog, whether you press through it, whatever you do, make sure that you're, no matter what, making time for yourself. And don't feel guilty if you don't feel like doing something. That is your body. That is something up here telling you you have something else that needs attention, and you need to think about it, or dwell on it, or analyze it, or talk to somebody else about it. Just something. All right. I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to get off this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I know I'll have way more shit to talk about then. Thanks for watching, guys, again.